Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My questions to the Minister of Social Development and Employment. Does she stand by all her answers to oral question number 7 yesterday?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. In light of her answer yesterday that the government has announced radical changes for young people and, quote, we will be intervening, end quote, what led her to make that decision?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, concerns of 16 and 17-year-olds that are not in education, employment or training, and also a real level of concern for teen mothers, some of whom get some great education through the teen parent units, but others who don't, and it felt really unequal and uneven, and felt that we could put better support around them as well.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Does she believe the use of a special credit card for people on a benefit that prohibits the purchase of alcohol and tobacco would require the Crown to make moral judgments about individuals' decisions? If not, why not?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I see the fact that they can't buy cigarettes or alcohol, to be quite honest, is quite a side issue. I think more that we are paying their rent directly, so they are having a roof over their head. I see that they are able to have the utilities, and then the use of a payment card and then an in-hand allowance on top of it has been quite the responsible thing to do for quite as young teenagers as 16 and 17 years old.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Does she believe the sort of oversight proposed by the Prime Minister on Sunday would be highly intrusive and rob individuals of their freedom of choice? If not, why not?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, actually in some respects, yes, I do think this is quite intrusive and I do think it is quite hands-on. But, Mr Speaker, we're talking about young teenagers, and we are talking about, in general, ones that have had pretty rough upbringing at times, some that really don't know what they would do, and if they were my kids, then I would actually be wanting to wrap more support around them and putting a few more controls in place, and so that is what we are doing.
The Honourable Annette
Mr
King.
Speaker, does she believe that this kind of oversight spread across the benefit system would impose an enormous administrative burden and cost upon work and income?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, the policy announced was for 16 and 17-year-olds and some teen parent of 18-year-olds, not across the whole benefit system.
Question, Mr Speaker. Does she believe because a small minority of income support recipients do not use their monies prudently that this should lead to changes to the welfare, the way welfare is paid or assessed? If not, why not?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, it's less about whether they're using their money prudently and more about offering them the sort of support that this package will. So the other part of it is that they have to be attached to a non-government organisation that wraps support around them. That could be a Māori organisation that is staying with that young teenager for some time as they go through a period of adjustment, or it could be not as hands-on as that, depending on where they're at.
The Honourable Annette King.
Mr Speaker. Did she send a letter to a businessman on the 14th of March this year saying a payment card for people on a benefit forbidding alcohol and tobacco purchases would require moral judgments by the Crown, would be highly intrusive and rob individuals of freedom of choice, impose an enormous administrative burden on work and income, and there was no need to change the way welfare is paid or assessed?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, possibly. What the member has not picked up is that actually this is for 16, 17 and some 18-year-olds. I have said that I do actually see it as intrusive. I do think that the administrative that comes with that is worth it, and I am backing these young people into a better life.
Question.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Annette
I
King.
seek leave to table a letter addressed to a businessman dated the 14th of March from the Minister of Social Development in which she rejects the idea of changing the way welfare is paid or assessed.
Leavers sought to table that document. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Question number 5, Louise Upston.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.